Train 91 was traveling between New York and Miami. Around 2:35 this morning, it collided with a CSX freight train outside of Columbia, South Carolina. Amtrak says on board were 8 crew members and approximately 139 passengers. We know that 2 people have died. We are hearing reports of 70 people being transported to hospitals now. 5,000 gallons of fuel spilled. That's not being viewed as a danger. The remaining passengers are now off the train. They've been taken to a nearby middle school where the Red Cross is setting up a shelter. Now, the injuries range from minor scratches, bumps and bruises to broken bones. We don't have any information about any critical or serious injuries. The initial briefing, they just didn't have that information. And that's not terribly uncommon. You're sort of going to a triage situation where you get the people that are most critically injured to a hospital as quickly as possible and assess them there. And then the so-called walking wounded, you can patch them up and get them to that middle school where the rest of the people on board the train are staging. The NTSB is launching a GO team. This is the second National Transportation Safety Board GO team currently working on an Amtrak crash. The other team is still in Charlottesville looking into that Amtrak train, which was carrying Republican lawmakers, that collided with a trash truck and killed 1 person, injured 6 others. This is the latest, Train 91, the latest in a series of deadly accidents involving Amtrak. In fact, the National Transportation Board has raised some questions about the safety culture at Amtrak following a fatal accident in Pennsylvania more than a year ago. But if you think back to December, when that Amtrak train in Seattle went off the tracks, when it rounded a curve going far too fast, and you now have the situation in Charlottesville in this one. The question here, why did the train collide with another train? Now, this is a circumstance that had positive train control been on those tracks, and if it was active and working properly, this accident should not have happened, because that's the type of accident positive train control is designed to prevent. And that's technology that's been mandated by Congress, but its installation has been delayed. The deadline isn't until the end of this year, but it really is game-changing technology that could prevent a lot of accidents, and possibly this one. So the NTSB will be looking into a host of things. Distraction. They're going to look at what was going on inside the engineer cab. Were the signals on the tracks working? Were the trains working properly? Why did these 2 trains end up on the same track? Why did they collide? Why didn't they know the other train was there? Amtrak trains now have at least outward-facing cameras and often inward-facing cameras. That video and the data recorder on board those trains will play a big factor in this, as well as interviews with the crew members of both trains. But at this point, we are hearing a very significant number of injuries, at least 70 people transported to the hospital, 2 people dead at this point in this Amtrak Train 91 crash. The train was traveling between New York and Miami when it collided with a CSX freight train and derailed.
Middle school. We also have more than a dozen volunteers and staff that are either on their way here or here right now. Those staff members and volunteers are coming from across the state to assist with this effort. We have emergency response vehicle that's coming as well that will be at the reception site to provide water and snacks and those sorts of things. And we are going to continue to work with the government partners you see up here with first responders and assist them as the investigation and as the day progresses. Again, the Red Cross is going to be here for as long as needed. We're going to step in any way that we are asked to help, because obviously today is quite a tragic day for so many people, and the Red Cross is going to be here to help for as long as we're needed. Thank you.
All right, this time, any questions?
Any roads blocked at this point?
Right now, the only roads blocked would be Pine Ridge Drive, and it's the one that runs right here next to EMD all the way down to 321.
Can you characterize the 70 injuries? What's the range?
I'll let Harrison take care of that for you.
So the 70 injuries range, obviously, in variety. We have anything from small scratches and bumps to more severe broken bones. So they kind of run the gamut in between that.
Are they non-life-threatening?
That at that time, I don't have that information, but I can get that information.
Can you go over again the basics of what happened here today? I wasn't rolling at the very beginning, just so I have it for the details. What happened this morning?
Yeah, so there was a train collision and derailment near Charleston Highway and Pine Ridge Drive between a freight train and a passenger train. When we arrived on scene, we began assisting passengers off of that train. At this time, there are no passengers on the train. It's very important to put that out. There were about 70 passengers that were transported to local area hospitals for various injuries. There were 2 fatalities according to the Lexington County Coroner's Office. That has been confirmed. And right now, we're also asking people that if they have any concerns or want more information to call Amtrak info line. That number is 1-800-523-9101. Again, that's the Amtrak info line. That's 1-800-523-9101.
Were the fatalities from the CSX or from Amtrak?
At that point, I don't have that information. At this point, I don't have that information. That will probably come out either from CSX or the Lexington County Coroner's Office.
Do you know in which direction the trains were traveling?
At this point, no. We just know that they collided on the tracks.
Any idea of why they collided?
Not at this time. That will be up to the investigation of CSX and the National NTSB.
What about hazardous material on the CSX train?
There was our hazmat team did respond. We were able to secure 2 leaks of fuel from the trains. Right now, we're estimating about 5,000 gallons of fuel has spilled. We have called in DHEC and CSX's DHEC team to secure that leak, and we are also assisting in that as much as we can.
But no threat to the greater public?
No threat to the public at this time.
Derek, I'm sure every year you guys must think of 2005 Graniteville. Anytime you hear of a train wreck, that immediately comes to mind. Can you talk about the amount of training that goes into?
Absolutely. Well, this is not our first train derailment. We've had. You mentioned the Graniteville incident in 2005. This is nothing like that. Unfortunately, we have many more people who were affected directly by this incident. It's unfortunate that we have 2 fatalities. Our hearts are with those families right now. We want to make sure right now the focus is on the passengers on that train, that they have someplace warm, that any unmet needs that they may have, that those are being attended to. But we do have extensive training and working with our local first responders and our county emergency managers in terms of who calls who, where do you go to get resources, how can we reach out to any of the train companies and so forth. So you're absolutely right. That's something that we look at every single year. Okay, anything else?
Anything the public can do to help at this point?
Right now, stay away from this area. If you were going to come to Pine Ridge for whatever reason, might be best to delay your trip or your plans for the next couple of hours. If there's any information, call that Amtrak number that Harrison just gave. If there's anything that we can do or any information that you might need, especially if you have a loved one who was on board this train, call that telephone number, and Harrison can give it right here directly in just a minute. Okay. Fortunately, this is a relatively low traffic area in terms of, especially on a Sunday. Highway 321 traffic impact should be minimal.
Can you talk about, I guess, the span of wreckage? Is it a quarter of a mile, half a mile?
Yeah, that's one of the things we're trying to determine and get more information for you. We'll have all of that type of thing, and especially in regards to what the NTSB is doing, what Amtrak will be doing, that will all come out a little bit later. All right, we'll try to have another briefing as we have more information, but this will be the Joint Information Center, the media briefing area, so any official information about this incident will come from right here. And of course, you guys have our telephone number, so anything comes up, just give us a call, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, you've been listening to the latest information coming here from the South Carolina Emergency Management Division and Lexington County Sheriff there. The update here, the increase of the number of those injured and transported to local hospitals up to 70 now. People, and the description there, the range of injuries from small scratches and bumps to severe broken bones. We know that there have been 2 fatalities reported. We do not know if those are passengers or crew, but this coming from this crash of an Amtrak train 91 into a CSX train there in Casey, South Carolina.